Hi everybody, today is Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, and this is episode number 10 of Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie. I always want to say running with stitches while we're using scissors.
That we could do that too.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Julie. I'm not that talented today to stitch and run at the same time, but
Well,
I see that Jane has now put the remote clicker in a special cup, so we know where it is.
we have the comfort of knowing where it is at all times.
Yes.
During the video.
Yes, that's good to know. So, I have a little correction to do. I was so excited the last episode because we went to Shepherd's Bush and I did a little surprise for Jane that I misspoke and I was corrected by my gun guy that it wasn't the Remington Museum.
Oh.
It was the Browning Museum. So I'm not up on my firearms
If
like
I had
should
the
be.
emoji, I would have done that right now.
But I thought maybe I should just do that little
Set the record
disclaimer,
straight.
yeah.
We're fact-based.
Well, and I'm not going to correct all the things I misspoke about when I was at Shepherd's Bush because I was just so nervous that just is to be a given.
Okay.
Okay. So, thank you for tuning in to see what we have today. And right off the bat, before any thank yous or acknowledgments, I just have to make good on the claim that I said when my guy was gone, I would bake a pie. So, it's a heavy one. I baked an apple pie.
Wait, can you hear that? It's the Pie Angels singing right now.
You have a better singing voice than I.
Not today.
Yep, so it's going to go over here.
Oh no! It seems so far away.
It's just right there.
All right.
And I doubled back home as I'm driving going, okay, yeah, I've got that. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, got to go back for the ice cream. So I went
Are
back.
we using this to cut it?
No. Only
We probably could.
in half.
Well, isn't that what we're doing though?
Yeah, no, we were just going to two-fork it right out of the pan.
Yeah, but we need to have a
ceremonial cut.
Yeah, and an equator sign so that there's no territorial fighting over
the pie.
Yeah. We know the fork boundary.
It was hard for me after the day I had yesterday not to take a piece
do a little
out.
pregame.
Yeah, but I didn't because I wanted it to be seen in its entirety. So,
all of its streusel top glory.
handmade crust. My mom's recipe for crust. I am a good crust. I mean, Tom said he's going to put that on my headstone.
She
could
made a
make
good
a
crust.
good crust.
She ran with scissors.
And could make a good crust. Yep. So
there are worse things to be remembered for.
yes, and they will probably be as well. Not
In the small print.
So we have a lot of fun stuff today, but
We
I think,
really
Jane, you have to do your thank yous because you're so good at that, using all the words. Go.
Okay. Yeah, of course. We want to thank all of you for joining us today. If you're new here, welcome. We're happy to see you. We hope that you'll join us in the fun today. And if you like what you see, that you'll hit the like button and you'll subscribe and you'll tell all of your friends because that's what we do here on Flosstube. We all support each other. And if you're a returning Flosstube friend, welcome back. We're happy to see you again. Thank you for all of your kind comments. I know I've been absent and not very good about responding. I promise I will get better. I'll have some time next week where I'll be able to put my feet up with the laptop and do some personal things instead of project plans.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So welcome and thank you.
Yes, welcome. Well, we're going to start out like we always do with some whips, and then we will get to stay tuned. A little bit of Hardanger heaven is coming up later in the episode. So sit back with a beverage and your stitching and let us entertain you.
Yes. And hold on to your seats, everybody. I actually have some Hardanger to share in that portion of the program too.
Yay! Yes.
I'm so proud. Okay. Whips.
Yep.
I have 2 whips to show because I actually have a current finish to share.
Ooh. She was kind of really hammering on that finish, so can't wait to see it. I've not yet seen it.
It'll be a surprise.
Yay!
I did some more work on Cottage.
Do you want some pie now?
Cottage Garden Samplings, October 31st. And as a reminder, I'm doing this on 40 count, Picture This Plus Ancient, which is the called for. And here is my progress. Last time I showed it to you, I had done a lot of work on the pumpkin. And this time around, I did some more work on the bird.
And the vine.
And a little bit of the vine.
Is that a star?
It is a star.
I wasn't sure if it was a star or a leaf.
It's a lot of fun.
Way cool.
I was telling Julie earlier, I can't talk today.
We need the pie.
Something to raise the blood sugar. The pattern is very dense, and the colors that you use to stitch the bird are very close together. So sometimes you get in there. I don't know how you all do it that don't have to have a working copy and a highlighter. I would be totally lost.
Yeah, on something like that where there's so much color changes.
But it is a lot of fun, and I really am enjoying the fabric.
The 40 count.
Well, and the modeling. I just think the modeling is so,
that's
so
entertaining
cool.
in itself.
Yeah. It makes it a fun stitch when you really enjoy that.
I do have that one to stitch, as I've said before. So I'm going to be anxious to start that as well, and have been warned as to the little trials of it with your process. So it will not be on 40 count. I'm telling you that right now.
I think they make ancient in 36 and maybe even 28 count.
Well, that's what I'll have.
You still get to enjoy the beauty of.
It just will be a bigger crow. My crow will be bigger than your crow. Oh, it's gonna be one of those days, James.
It makes me sad. And then the other thing that I've been working on is Come Tarry by Shepherd's Bush.
She got a little love this week.
She got a little attention and love this week, and
she's got it
I
off
do this
the
for you. I took it off of the scroll bar.
I thought,
just
why
for
is
you.
it off the scroll bar? And now I know why. Oh, Lord. Oh.
And
you really don't even need a board behind it, do you?
No, not really.
It doesn't really.
No.
Oh, those sheep.
And I got through the pattern darning band. That's this band right here.
There.
That was a lot of fun. And then the words are all 1/1. This is 32 count, hand-dyed dark espresso linen. The sheep were a ton of fun. And a lot of specialty stitches. So now there are a few more bands of specialty stitches that need to be done. And then I think there's a little more cross stitch, which is mostly like a floral vine, kind of similar to this one.
Does she have an arch, or is that the top of her? She
That's
sets
the top
the top.
of her.
She's the
Yep.
focal point. Okay.
She's standing proud and tall
yes.
on the top of the hill.
I mean, when you had done the pattern darning, I thought, oh, that's just perfect. Not even realizing there was a whole lot of other work to go on.
She's a big girl.
Yeah,
She's a really big girl.
Beautiful.
And the opportunity to do a lot of, I don't know how close I can get it. See that area of grass there, the 3 hills? That's all one color, maybe 2 colors of overdyed silk. And Tina gives you instructions. For this section of the hill, I stitched it horizontally. For this section, I did vertically. And then for one section, she stitched diagonally.
To get the variegation of the
so that it looks like it's 3 separate hills, and there's kind of like ones in front of each
they're
other.
stitched with different colors of green.
It's 2 colors of green. Yeah, the middle one is a darker color than the other 2 on the outside.
That's a good thing to remember too. Like if you're stitching a pumpkin, don't go horizontal. You can go up and down with your over dyed orange, and that gives it a different
Yeah, and you could
texture.
even do like a parenthesis shape or whatever. Like on this one, if it were all one color, you know how it kind of curves around.
You could have followed.
You could do that so that you're showing like the ribs of the contours of the pumpkin.
So cool.
Those are my whips. I have a consultation I need. It's like a pre-pip process, the triple P. We can do that anytime.
Well,
and then
let's
I've got
talk
my
about
finish.
that now, because we had talked about it a little bit ahead of time, and she said, it's not really this. I said, this is what you call a pre-pip. For those of you who don't know what a pip is, that's my little acronym for preparation in progress, a pip. Because you haven't gotten to the whip stage yet, because you got to find the fabric, you got to pull the fibers. There's so much preparation to get to the whip.
I'm exhausted just thinking about
So
it.
she asked me for a consultation. I said, well, we'll have a pre-pip on camera.
I have a couple of fabric choices, and next week I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be in a little cabin on the north shore of Lake Superior, about 40 miles north of Duluth. And while my able-bodied companions will be off doing death marches through all the state parks, I will be in the cabin looking at the lake and have an opportunity to do some uninterrupted stitching.
Yeah.
So I want to start something new. And
the light is better here, so we thought we would talk about what your choices are. Oh.
So I really want to start a Tisket a Tasket. This is Rosewood Manor.
Yes.
But I have a couple of fabric choices now. So I did manage to score a piece of 36 count vellum. And it is beautiful.
And vellum is what the pattern calls
Vellum
for.
is the call for.
Oh, so that's what it looks like.
So it's beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
And that's by Picture This Plus?
Picture This Plus vellum.
Okay.
Well, it was taking long. Because remember last time I told you it had to come from Jupiter.
Yeah.
It was just
They had to grow the linen.
Exactly. Well, while I was waiting for it to come, I came across a piece of 40 count white clay by Fox and Rabbit, which is also very, very, very beautiful.
Very neutral.
Yeah, very neutral. A little bit of very subtle modeling in it.
Wow.
Not as dramatic as the Picture This Plus, but otherwise the same color family. The white clay is maybe a little more yellow in it, but also a good choice. So I'm not really sure which one to start.
Well, by looking...
flossed some tossed some floss. Easy for me to say.
Dropped some floss and then picked it back up.
I dropped it like it was hot. And the colorway will look really good on either one of those pieces.
I'll share my opinion. Well, one, it's 40 count, so that would rule me out, but it's not my piece. And when you put the two pieces together, the vellum, for those of you at home, has a hint of green.
Yeah.
But so is there green?
No, there's no green.
Oh, there's no green.
Mm-mm.
Oh, see, I was mistaken with my looking. I thought this was green, but it's not. It's tin roof.
It's great. Well, it has a hint of green in it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tough call, because if you look at this again,
it's a lot of coverage.
It's a lot of coverage. And what I thought was green is the tin roof for the leaves and for the basket. And when she held the tin roof up, with my eye, I spied with my eye that that would stand out better on
the vellum.
The vellum.
Okay.
because on the white clay, you might lose it with the whiteness.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Like with that other pattern I was working on, you never know once you're stitching which part of the over-dyed floss is going to be dominant.
Yeah.
And if it were the lighter shade, I think it would get lost on the clay.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Done.
Well, we didn't get the consensus of everybody else, but they'll have to chime in if they have.
Okay, well, I'm weeding.
Either one.
I'm weeding tomorrow.
Oh,
So
you can't take
I
both
don't-
with. Oh, you wanna pip it up tonight.
I wanna pip it up, baby.
Pip it up.
Okay, so that will go in there. The only other thing that kind of gave me pause a little bit is that this is a fairly big piece on 36 count. It's 15.5 by 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
So if I leave a 3-inch border, it's 21.5 by 16.5.
Yeah.
That still should fit okay on the what is supposed to be the 18 by 27.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can remeasure. Do you have a measure thing? A tape measure, some people call them.
I think there's one in the drawer.
We'll have to do that.
I cannot confirm or deny.
After we have pie, when we've got a clear head, we will sit and pip.
And this will live in a beautiful buckleberry quilt bag. All right, that will be one of my next starts. And I also have to start another shepherd's bush because I only have one in progress now. And that just, I know, right?
That's criminal.
That can't
No,
happen.
that can't.
So stay tuned for that. I'll report on that next time.
That'll be fun.
Okay. Well,
Way
that's great.
cool.
That's what I've been working on. How
Oh,
about you? I know you've done a ton of, she's the finishing goddess.
I did. I did a lot of finishing, and you know, if I were to spin a wheel, I would have landed on D Garden. We had to do that before my and I picked up my hunters. You know, that takes a while. Cookies, and they took the camper, and I'll just briefly.
Did
tell
you make them housewife sandwiches as part of your pip?
No, because my Tom's nephew does all the cooking, so
Oh. Nice.
I just do the baked goods. But Bella has always wanted to go to the deer woods, and when she was little, they said, "Oh, it's for boys only," and that worked until she hit like 12 years old, and she's like, "Oh no,
That's not going to fly.
no, mm-mm." So she actually got to go with for this pre-season hunt. And she, you know, she's so cute. Long nails, false eyelashes, hair just perfect. Just stripped down to camo and blaze orange. She's so cute with her no contacts,
She is
glasses.
cute.
Oh my gosh, they've sent pictures. So
And I wish you could see the meticulous French braid that Catherine did
Oh my
on
gosh.
Bella's hair.
when she
It was
found
a
out
work of art.
they were
It was
gonna
unbelievable.
dry camp, so no shower, and Bella's like,
What now? Come again.
4 days. So yeah, they've sent some pictures. I think they're having the time of their life with her little extreme wilderness getaway, you know. So I miss them, but
awesome.
I've had lots of time to myself to do finishing that I'll show you later. And I did, this is a finish, but it also is still in the whip stage. So do you remember? Oh, I was so worried about getting that pie on the table. I didn't think. My
Yeah, precious
reindeer
cargo.
fried steak, as Jane refers to it as. Note that it's trimmed with red and white fabric, which I love that fabric, and I have that fabric, but I just was going a little rogue and thinking out of my box. And when I was at the fabric store, I found
that.
this fabric.
Oh,
Excuse me. So taking that in mind, instead of stitching the whole entire thing red and white, I kind of did a mini consultation with Jane and said, do I dare like change it up and add some color? And once I put the trees in with a very, I don't even remember the DMC color. It really doesn't matter. And then it's a gray green. And then I did the weight in black, a soft black.
Oh.
And then when you hold this, you know, then the minute I held this up to it, I'm like, that was, you want to hold that for me? That was the choice. That, I'm glad I did that.
Oh, that's going to be so awesome.
So it'll be the lining and possibly, you know, when I was going to do it on 18 count, I was going to have that be the back of the sack. I think I'll have this be the lining and the back and the cuff. And I might do black cording, you know, for the sack. To do a drawstring sack. So it's not done. It's still a whip, but the cross stitch part is done.
I just can't get over how much I love that red.
$4.98.
That's
That's just the best red. So I worked on that because I wanted to finish it so I could get to the rest of it, but it still is.
I can't wait.
It's still a whip to become a finish. So that is that. Then let's see, no list. I just get so excited that I don't have a list. So I feel like I'm okay. Remember I showed you this one? Because I need everyday stuff.
Yeah.
So I got this fabric when I was at Shepherd's Bush. It's Picture This Plus 36 count shale. And it's more lavender than it appeared in the store.
Oh, I think it looks great.
And I told Jane I wanted it every day.
Yeah.
And I was going to do this on like a beige because that's my comfort.
Yeah, the neutral.
Well, if I'm going to have an everyday display, my new thing that I've been doing at the thrift stores is buying that old crusted up silver plated stuff. And as it turns out, I have 4 different coffee pots and teapots that I kind of, so for my everyday, I thought this would be a beautiful roll or drum to have with this lavender with the silver plate. Really looked rich. So 36 count with 1 thread. Take a look. Take your glasses off and look. You know, I'm a two-strand gal, and I'm seeing fabric, and I'm like,
I love it.
I did some deep breaths, and I had a cookie.
Just love it.
And I came to the consensus that I'm going to continue. And it, to me, in my mind, what's making it be okay is it's going to look like a pencil drawing.
Oh, kind of like a sketch.
Yep. Because look at all the heavy, heavy stitching in that building.
Yeah.
And not to have a blacked out coverage that in my mind is the look I like. This is going to be like a sketched look.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this is the way it's going to be. Because I'm still new at this whole one strand thing. And
it's hard to leave a strand behind, isn't it?
And last night when I was stitching it, I was watching a movie that didn't have cars in it. It was horses. So, you know, it was a British thing. And I'm like, oh, they would have sketched this. So
yeah.
I felt like I was in my era.
I love it. I can't get over the fabric.
Yeah.
The fabric is wonderful.
And of course I have a whole hunk left. So if I wanted to make, you know, a little pin cushion, yeah, I could do that. Maybe out of, oh, then I got to tell you this. Talking about ripping. Rip, that's all I did last night. That reminded me I have to set this here. Okay, so I'm doing the little steeple part here. And then I thought, oh, to show I've really made progress, I'm going to jump over and I'm going to do that K and I'm going to do that T, and that really looks like I really made some headway. So I'm doing the K, and as I'm looking, I'm like, okay, like is that the alphabet? Because they don't show you how it goes all the way around. And I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake, that's her personalization. So I'm stitching because I'm like, 2017, and I'm like, oh, that's their personalization. So I had to take out I'm like, wow, you got to read the print. You know, you got to. So
that's great.
Yeah, that was real fun to do that. Take out that over one. So I worked on that.
I can't wait to see that finished.
And
that
then,
is so cool.
As the saga continues, the red deer.
Our favorite friend, the red deer sampler.
Yes. I struggled so terribly on that 40 count. I told Jane, after we finished the video last week, I said, I just am so frustrated with that. And you told me that don't do it. And she said, don't. And I'm like, well, I don't want to take it all out. I'm not ripping all that out over one because I kind of stitched here and there and wouldn't know. So she said, well, then just cut it off, which literally killed me to cut. I mean, it was only 5 inches off the top.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to stitch this so desperately, but
you
not.
don't want it to be a slog and say over and over again. This isn't fun. And like, there's nothing heroic about stitching on 40 count or even 36 count. Stitch on what you love to stitch on, and that's what makes it great. We're all so individual.
Yep. So what I did, I started it again. Oh my gosh. So here we go. I did, this is all the further I've gotten. And I started with that corner piece that's not balanced. Get that out of the way.
Just get that out of your system.
Yep, so that's how far I got. And let me see. So this is, I told Jane, I can't keep my fabrics right. This is 35 count hand-dyed bippity-boppity-boo. I don't know.
Let me put that through my translator.
Yes.
Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray.
Yes. I'm like, she goes, what do you stitch it on? And I'm like, I don't remember those
Darn
things.
if I know.
Yeah.
Fabric.
Yeah. And the colors, of course, it's the called for fabric with the called for fibers. So
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, you know, so
it's beautiful.
I tried to be creative and think out of my box, and it just, my eyes failed me miserably.
Well, you know, and it's the called for a reason.
Yes.
Too.
And I have found that a lot of times I'm like, oh, well, I don't particularly like that shade. I'm going to go and choose another one. And circle back to exactly why that was.
Yeah.
So now that I've got the fabric established, and like you, is that enough with the math? I had my calculator, I got my ruler, and to make sure. It was scary to put that first stitch in because
I have a little bit of apprehension about.
What if you get all the way over and, you know. Yeah. So I measured and remeasured 100 times, and so I am looking forward to really putting some good time into that. So.
I'm still struggling with fabric, so I'll be anxious to see your progress and how it looks, and then I may also order the called for.
And it's 35 count, so I think the coverage was good.
I thought it looked great.
Yeah, and it was, I could see it real well with my multi-magnifier that I use when I sit in my chair. So now I'm looking forward to really kind of hitting that pretty serious so I can add a pop of color so I feel like I'm a winner.
It shouldn't be a punishment to take out a piece of needlework, and I kind of felt like that's what it was becoming for you, was punishment to do it. And just doing it for the sake of saying I stitched something on 40 count?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I want the red deer sampler to go on my red sampler wall over my striped settee.
Which is also known as the piece of furniture nobody's allowed to sit on.
The other.
The laundry basket can go there.
No,
but
no,
nothing.
No. Mm-mm. We took out a big china hutch, and something needed to be there. So I wanted just another piece of furniture should we happen to have more than 4 people at our house. So I bought this little settee. It's really pretty, striped, red and gold and an olive green. And so I'd sent Tom upstairs. I said, hey, as long as you're going up, would you get that piece for me? It's on the settee. And he goes, sure, not a problem. He runs upstairs, and he's at the top of the stairs, kind of in a pause. And he goes, the settee? And I said, yeah. And he goes, is that stripy couch that none of us can sit on? Yep.
That's the one.
The only one that sits on that is Stella, my grandpuppy. And I just roll my eyes every time she gets up there. And I look at her, and she looks at me like, what are you going to do about it, Grandma? And I just let
Oh,
her
the defiance.
Yeah, little fluffy white dog. So that's what I have for whips. Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's exciting.
Can we talk about this?
I wish we would.
Yeah. Okay. I created something fun for one of the shows that I was doing. And we have a frog in our house, one in my garden, one in my house, and not a real one, a statue.
I'm glad you clarified.
And we named her Frida. So Jane will do the dramatic reading as my voice is going out today. But I just thought this was kind of cute and clever and multifunctional. So,
ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce you to Frida, the friendly frog fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Never far from the fabric's edge, watching o'er every stitch that's placed, warding off the dreaded evil frog should he dare to show his face. She will gently lift each misplaced stitch, reweave the fiber's end, returning to her lily pad to bless her stitching friend.
So you get a lily pad, and it's boiled wool. That's when I had my pots of boiled wool.
The wool stew.
And there's a little magnet inside that holds your needle threader. And these come in pink, blue. You kind of get what you get. And then they all sit on the lily pad. And then you have, I have another one. We can take it apart. There's a long one. Let me take this out. This one has, oh, we're not going to see it. This one is an eye on the end of this. So you can slide it underneath to put the thread through and pull it back. And this is a little, and they have frogs on them. This is a little frog on top of the needle to pick out your boo-boo. So it was just kind of fun. So,
oh, that's great.
So I sell these, of course, on my website. I can't get her back in her world. There we go.
I'll do it.
So that was just kind of fun for that.
That's great. My pin like this
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a frog on it. It just has one of these.
I know, because you got
Sure.
an extra. I made extras, so I gave you.
I wasn't frog worthy.
You're frog worthy, but I had given you an extra. But so that was kind of fun. And boy, did I need Frida last night when I was taking out that black over, one strand, pulling out that gal's initials. See, I struggled with it too. Did you get it? So that's my little fun thing I wanted to share.
Yep, I got it.
And now we can go to
So great. I love it.
finishes. Are we on finishes? Is that what we do next?
I think so.
I'm all mixed up today.
Finishes and then the Hardanger extravaganza.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
end.
that's right. I'm going to put Frida up by the pie, I think.
I'm
she'll
so
be-
jealous of Frida right now. Okay, I have a current finish.
Oh,
I finished my shepherd's bush, my earth.
oh. That is beautiful.
A lot of fun. I hadn't done beads in a while. There are quite a few beads on it. I had a great time with that. I love the little copperish antique charms. The one executive decision I did make is up on top of the heart, up here. There was a bird charm, but it was very yellow gold, kind of brassy, and it was kind of out of step with the color and kind of the feel of the other charms. So I'm just going to leave it off.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to see it
I'm
up close.
very excited.
Because she actually got to the charm stage. Usually all her pieces just sit unembellished. Yes. That you put them on.
Yeah, I do have a few in the drawer, no return, that where all the stitching is finished, but I have beads and charms to put on. And I leave them like that because I always think to myself, hold your laughter. I really should press these before I put the charms on, and then...
Well, we know how that goes.
Yeah.
You're just an anti-presser. Oh. You're gonna hide the many faces of Jane. No, you can't be a sugar skull and a loser.
I can multitask.
You can. Okay, so before I go any further, this is kind of off topic, but just because I'm new. Jane, please tell me that notification I got isn't on the video. It was just on the screen because it came in on my phone.
I think it's just on your phone.
Okay. I'm sorry if you see a notification pop up.
We'll find out over pie.
Well, we're not going to stop, but we've got some things going on with my family, and I shut all my alarms and bells and whistles off, but I didn't know if that notification came up on the screen. Please disregard. So, all right. So that was your finish?
That was my finish. That was my feeble finish.
Well, I have a fun finish.
Oh, you guys, these are unbelievable.
This finish is the unknown finish. I don't know who the designer is, and I spent all my time thinking and Googling and couldn't find it. But before my hunter guy left, I had him wood block me and drill my holes and get everything all ready. I found a handle.
Oh my gosh.
And I took apart a pick, and
it is perfection. It's just unbelievable.
And again, I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'm sure as heck going to try to find a spot because it's way cool. I thought it turned out real cool for having something I didn't know who it was, forgot I even had it, and thought I'm going to finish that. So that is one of my
so much.
things. I'll put that right here. Limited space. Okay. Then I had worked on something wicked.
Sue Hillis Designs.
Hillis. And I changed it up a little bit to suit my personal taste for the love of black. And I was doing it for Bella because she loves spooky things. Halloween's her favorite time. And on the edge of the band, it said rot in the year 2022. And I thought, I'm going to read...
Not rot, like decay.
Rot.
Rot, like made.
W-R-O-G-H-T. And I don't know how else you'd say that.
Nope, that's how you say it.
Yeah. So
but I know some people initially were alarmed in the comments that rot. Why would you put rot on something?
So I asked her if she would like for me to put Day of the Dead, since that's part of her heritage, which came in Jane as my Vanna White sugar skull model. Catherine made that for us. And we're going to be silly with it. Oh, and then I also, brought chocolates. Look at these are little Day of the Dead chocolates.
Are we allowed to eat those?
Yes, that's why they're in the eating dish. That's why they're here. So Bella tasted one and said it was bougie chocolate, not like Hershey chocolate. So what I did is I replaced part of that on the end of the band with, here's my, don't have the best voice today, it's Dia de los Muertos. I said it. I had to practice.
Very well done.
A lot. So here it is. Here is my box.
Gosh.
I put a pedestal base. I'm wearing black, so I put a pedestal base on it. And then painted the box black. And then I put the band on it. And there's where I personalized the Dia de los Muertos. Muertos. She says it's so cute.
Oh.
So I used 32 count dark cobblestone gray. And I told Jane I didn't put it flush with the edge because I didn't want a trim. I wanted to make it smaller, but then I would have had to alter the pattern because I wanted to put stone beads around it. So I just went with a little visible edge to it. So then on the inside...
Oh, get ready, everybody.
On the component pieces were as such. You could do the tape measure, and you could do a 4-inch hoop that was padded as a pincushion, which I chose to make the lid a pincushion. So I padded it and used one of my vintage buttons.
I love it so much.
And I left a lip because remember the lid has to go over the top, so you had to leave a lip. And we can
Now, did you fussy cut the linen?
No.
So that the paisley swirls would
No.
kind of, oh.
No. And then on the inside, I put the gray stripe, which was perfect. And I put a pad, slightly padded for the bottom inside. So lots of measuring, lots of circles, because the paper mache box, of course, is handmade, so it's not exactly perfect. And I entered the world of Mod Podge. I'd heard of it. I'd not ever. I used fabric Mod Podge, which is the bomb. I mean, oh my gosh. So I want to Mod Podge everything. In fact, I got this larger hat box to store it in because I know she's like, oh, Grandma, that's cool, but it's not her thing. She'll appreciate it more when she's got her own home and stuff. But I wanted to have it be protected, so I thought, oh, I can Mod Podge this in all like fabric of Halloween, or purple's her favorite color. So that was really fun. Then instead of doing the disc for the tape measure, I got the black tape measure as they suggested on Amazon. Yep. So I got that. But I had one of those funky buttons left with
it's so perfect.
It is. It just really just fits the mood of it. Just amazing.
Oh.
Now here's another little tip. I had to glue this with that E6000, so I thought I'm going to set it down. Well, there's the eject button. How are you going to stabilize that? And I'm like, I'm not going to hold it for 12 to 18 hours till it's dry. Well, you know, on the ribbon roll of ribbon, you get the cardboard roll, has a hole in it. I just set that on top of the ribbon where this little button went in the hole. Now it's a flat surface.
Genius.
I thought I was pretty smart.
Genius.
Yeah. Then, of course, you've got the little casket. Here's the little casket. And I put some fun trim
Oh, the
on
trim
it.
is
Excuse
just
me.
amazing.
I was a little leery about using the Mod Podge on linen. I didn't know if it would wick. So I kind of just brushed it on the box and brushed this to set it down. And then I put pins to hold it closer. And I told Jane I was going to paint the pins.
I love the pins the way
but
they are.
I think I'm leaving them like that for like the nails in the coffin. And those are, if you ever run across, they're sequin pins. So they're shorter. so you're not trying to stick a
Oh,
regular
okay.
sewing pin in. Then on the inside of the
Oh my
lid,
God.
I did a little, can you see that? I did a little
Black button.
lining and I had a little vintage black button. And of course, I made sure I left a margin all the way around the inset so it would set flush on the lid. Then I made her a scissor fob with the bat and the stone black bead
And the purple.
and purple's her favorite color, and of course running with scissors, so, and a little petite scissor fit in
so
there.
good.
And then the inside, of course, is the skeleton. And I put the lining striped in there. It was a little hard to fit in there because the more I wanted to stretch it so it was nice and smooth, I lost his toes.
Death isn't perfect.
And you're working with handmade paper mache things,
Yeah.
you know, that aren't.
I can't get over, you know, it's such a small piece and it would be easy for details to get lost. But I can't believe the little details, like in his claw hands.
Oh, and then look how his pelvis is a heart.
Oh, I never noticed that.
That's the first thing I focused in on. Yeah, his hands and everything. So yeah, it was a really fun piece, but wow.
That's
Did
a
that
lot of
that
work.
was a lot of time.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
the little fob goes in there and put his little casket lid on.
You really are a finishing goddess.
No,
Yes.
I'm not. No, I'm not
Yes, you are.
goddess level. I'm like queen. Queens wear better clothes. Goddesses are kind of drapey wrapped. If I have to choose my wardrobe, you know.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So that was really fun. Oh, and I got you a commemorative tin for our Day of the
you.
Dead. It's got a sugar cookie in it. And I got one in black, my favorite color. So, if you want to know more about the Day of the Dead, it is really fascinating in the culture. It's November 1st and 2nd of every year. And it's when the Mexican culture, if I get this to the best of my ability, I'll briefly explain, but Google it. It's fascinating if you have an interest. They set an altar in their home called an ofrenda, and that's where they make the favorite foods and drinks of those souls who have passed. And on that day, that's when the souls come and nourish and feast on what the family has prepared for them in their memory. And also the sugar skull, that was really fun. They actually made them out of sugar and corn syrup and in molds, and then you would decorate them. All these colors mean something. Yellow means something, purple means something. You see some sugar skulls that are dark colors, and that was more of a tragic death, but it all has meaning. And I really spent a lot of time reading different things about it. It was very interesting to learn that little bit about her heritage. And apple pie is my heritage. So we
Do I have to build an altar before we eat it?
Oh no, it's called a table.
All right,
We're
thank you.
good.
A TV tray.
A TV tray or a lap. We can lap eat.
Okay. That's good.
So those were my two finishes, which took quite a bit of
Yeah,
time.
I
I was
can't imagine.
surprised on how much time that took.
Yeah.
But so how was the chocolate? Was it bougie?
It is very rich and milk chocolatey, and it's not like grocery store chocolate.
Yeah, it's smooth.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's very good.
I'll have
Well,
to
I should maybe just
try
to
it.
make sure.
Yeah, make sure, because I don't want to open one up if it's not going to be worth it. So cool.
I should probably eat the first piece of pie then, just to make sure it's worth the calories for you.
Oh no, I'll take that risk. So I did want to share for our Hardanger, Slice of Hardanger Heaven, the piece behind me is a framed piece of mine that I did Oh my gosh, when I hand charted, Jane, remember when I did that? Yeah, this was one of 3 of the very beginning pieces that I did. When I was asked to design something, of course I go right into a huge piece. But each of the 3 pieces, Hope, Sophie, and Catherine, were the ones that I did back when printing was just on the market. Back then, if you weren't a big enough company to have a printer, this is how I could afford to do it, as being a micro business and designer. This piece is hand charted, and it needs this for instructions. That's how I started back then.
I mean, honestly, I don't think any Hardanger stitcher should be without take the heart out of Hardanger.
Well, the thing is I wanted to keep the price of the pattern down. Back, now we're talking 25 years ago.
I feel old. Oh.
I can't believe I've stitched this piece 3 times.
God,
I did 2 framed ones, and you have my piece. We ran out of room on my side of the table. This one, if someone didn't have a spot to put a big framed piece, this is over our bed. I took the gun rack down. Isn't that kind of good to put this up instead? But this is the detail of it. Yeah. It's got plain wrapped bars. There are no picots on this?
No picots.
Plain wrap bars, eyelets, and adjoining wrap variation.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's very, when I pull my things out, knowing how much I struggle to thread the right end of the needle.
I've got a tip for you on that one.
And to have a stable hand. When I think of all that I stitched, I sound kind of full of myself.
You should be in awe of yourself.
I'm amazed that I stitched this 3 times.
I'm amazed anybody could stitch it once.
Without drinking or, anything. But the tone on tone really is beautiful.
It really is something.
It's very subtle. But I wanted to say, if someone goes, oh, that's cute, pretty, but I don't have a place to put it, so I buttonhole edged it, and it does come charted with the buttonhole edge on it, so you can do it either way. I left the buttonhole edge off for the framed piece. But, so yeah, I thought I would bring this today before the weather turned ugly for the season, because I didn't want to take that out in the elements.
I can't blame you.
So, but yeah, so that's my Hardanger share for the day. And
I wish you all could see it in person. It'll bring tears to your eyes. It's just so stunning, and there's such a beautiful story
with it
too.
I kind of wrote that in the front of it. So.
No.
But that's what I did. That's the only designing I did, is if something moved me, like Sophie and Hope, and I got Catherine and Audrey.
And Elizabeth.
I did one for Elizabeth. That I just designed them, and each stitch thought of that person and what they meant to me. So that was my inspiration, because I didn't think of myself as a designer at the time. I was a teacher. I was a Hardanger teacher. Let me help you take the heart out of Hardanger, and now you want me to design what? That's
and what a designer.
So it was fun to do.
What a designer.
A fun memory to go back on for that as well.
And that one's still available too?
Yes, I do, believe it or not, have some copies left.
I know that's in my Julie stash to stitch. I just can't work up the courage.
Well, I'm not going to stitch it again. I think 3 times is enough. But let me see what you have for
Well,
Hardanger.
I also have a Hardanger share. So I think I shared in one of the very earliest episodes that I was always kind of a monogamous stitcher when it came to cross stitch. But I have a lot of Hardanger whips.
Yes.
And I came across this one that I hadn't worked on in a really long time. And just showed it a little bit of love this week so I could kind of get the Hardanger juices flowing again.
And of course, not a small piece as well, as you can tell.
This is a big, huge runner. I'll just show you
how big and
how huge it is.
Look at, is this the one for your piano?
That's the one for the piano.
Oh.
Yep. And all of the surface work, the cluster blocks, the buttonhole, everything is done.
But the fun stuff.
Now I have to put my Courage pants on to do
get it off your head.
To do the cutting and wrapping. So I did a little bit of that this week.
Oh, and I love that.
It's spokes.
Plain wrapped bars with spokes.
Yeah.
So showy.
I had forgotten, honestly, how big it is. And so I got the roll out and I'm unrolling and unrolling and unrolling and unrolling. I'm like, is this a bedspread or an altar cloth? Like,
well,
what
pianos
is
aren't
this?
small.
No, pianos aren't small.
Yeah,
So,
it's just amazing.
So I maybe start to chip away on that when I go out of town tomorrow for that week. I'm going to try to do some more work on the yellow doily and get that cutting and wrapping
But
done.
the thing with this is, you know, what all the time that she's put into it. That's what I like about Hardanger. You could, does this have eyelets? This has eyelets in it or not? I guess we'd have to check the pattern if there were.
It has, I think,
some
isolated eyelets, meaning they're not inside.
Oh, but there's not eyelets in the cluster block settings. God only knows. We better check that. Or not.
Well, okay, well, let me tell you right now. If there are eyelets, I'm not doing them.
No, but I just saw that with that cluster block setting. Usually there are eyelets.
I'll check the pattern.
Yeah. Well, I know what wrap this is. This is that 3-bar wrap.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need them because the 3-bar wrap, when she gets to that point, you'll see is such an eye-catching that I think eyelets would take away the simplicity, you know, surrounding it. I don't think you'd want it. But let's check. I'm interested now.
Yeah,
interested
when we're uploading,
Yeah.
I'll pull it out and we can take a look. And,
Yeah, when we're having
and
pie.
see. I can hear it calling to me from over there.
So yummy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I pulled that out just to get the Hardanger juices flowing again. Because I've been doing so much cross stitch.
Yeah.
It's feast or famine for me. A lot of the times it's either all cross stitch or all Hardanger. And for a little while it was Hardanger and nothing else. I was just obsessed with it. And then I started doing cross stitch a little more and I was like, oh, these aren't eyelets. It feels kind of good to be able to do something that's not an eyelet. But I'll get back into it, and I know all of you have been waiting on the edge of your seat for an updated eyelet count on Sophie. Stay tuned. The waiting will be worth it, I promise.
Yeah. Well, I should do, I've got some Hardanger that I should work on too, but I'm just trying to, I'm working on the delightful details. And then I'm like, oh, now I want to stitch. Oh, all I think about is that Red Deer sampler. So now that I've got a good start on that, I'll stitch on that tonight when I leave here. I'll put my jammies on and I'll stitch.
Oh.
I told my neighbor, you know, if you see my light still on at 2 a.m, don't call 911. I'm stitching. Late night stitching. That's kind of fun to do. So now what? I don't like not having a script.
Now we would be to the delightful delivery portion of our program.
Oh, did you get deliveries?
I have a couple delightful deliveries.
Would you like to share?
Okay. I will. The October color and cotton came.
Ooh.
And I have to say, this is pretty beautiful. This is 32 count Nantucket.
I saw that was a choice when I was looking for my red deer stuff, and I thought,
Oh,
I don't know what Nantucket looks like, but very...
got a very nice hint of green in it. Beautiful. And then the October colors came, which are very autumnal, go figure. So those are the
Don't you wish
colors.
they gave you a pattern? That's what they should do. Here's
I'm all about the stitching for animals.
You know, here's the beautiful fibers in the fabric, and then we don't have anything ready to stitch on it. I'd want to start something.
You inspired me last time I took out my Winds of Autumn Blackbird book, and I looked at that Mighty Oaks from Little Acre. I thought that might be perfect.
Yes.
For this. But I have a few other pieces
of
color and cotton. This is 32.
32, I could do that.
There are a few other pieces from color and cotton that might look really stunning with it too. So I'm going to pull a few of those out, and then I've got to pull all the fibers and then make an executive decision. So that's that. And then I have a couple of Blackbird pieces.
Oh.
This is called Tricks or Treat. There's a lot of smalls in it.
Is that new?
I thought this was super cute. I don't think it's new.
Oh, I like those though.
Yeah. I had never seen
Ooh.
it before, but look at all the cute things.
And you know that cat?
Yeah.
I've got some cognac. That orange that I did for my cats on parade.
Yeah.
That would be a cute companion piece for that.
Very cute. So cute.
He'd be cute on a little block next to my drum.
Yeah. Well, let me know. You can take it with you.
Or no, I'll get my own.
And then this one is Blackbird's called Casting a Spell. I've seen quite a few Flosstubers take their finished ones out. And I thought, I have to have that.
That's what you were talking about, the little pillows.
Yeah. And then there's some.
Where do you find that printer tray thing? Is that something you can purchase?
I don't know. I haven't really had much of a chance to research. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll have to look at that, too.
I didn't spend a ton of time to see if somewhere in the back it's got a list of suppliers and where you can get it, but
well, why didn't you tell me to bring my jammies? I don't have to go home, and we could have pulled a all-nighter.
Will you help me pack for tomorrow?
Sure. Oh, man.
Well, you don't live that far away. You could get
some jammies from Catherine.
Yeah.
I'll have her bring me over some.
Yeah, and those are my delightful deliveries.
I just wasn't thinking. I didn't know she had all this good stuff that I'm going to want to help her pip up.
Oh.
Or pip my own self.
Yeah. There's so much fun things
and
very achievable stitches.
I'm not one for cats, but that cat really is cute.
I really like the arch of the back and the tail back there.
Yeah.
So
way cool.
My Blackbird collection is becoming very extensive.
It is very growing very much so. Well, is that it for you, dear?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I was so busy with all my finishing and my deguarding and my pipping up my hunters that I didn't really get a chance to really shop like I usually do. But I did in my cart when I got my fabric for the Red Deer sampler. I got this Teresa Kogut one because I thought that can go in my everyday decor.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to have, I always happen to have a reason why to buy something. I have stone chickens that are shaped like this. A big white one and a black one. I don't think you've seen them. But that would be fun with that. To put on my stairwell shelf, kind of do a everyday thing. A lot of stitching in that. Oh, that's pretty big chicks.
Wow, God bless.
And then, that's it. That's my
great.
only. Oh, well, my delightful delivery that I got was my fabric for the Red Deer sampler. And then, of course.
The delightfulest of deliveries.
Yes, and then I had I had to get more of the piney woods because I had used 3 whole lengths of it, and I knew that I'd need to replenish that since I wasn't moving forward. But I did have some delightful downloads.
Oh, the instant gratification is great.
Look at that.
Oh.
I have no idea who that's by.
Owl Forest Embroidery.
And it's in a different language.
Yeah.
But we have a love-hate relationship with squirrels. That's been the big thing with Tom's retirement, is he stands in the kitchen window and yells
Get off my lawn.
Yells at the squirrels. Don't you dare go up that bird feeder. And I'm like, he goes, why are there so many squirrels? I go, there aren't. It's just that you're home to see them now. This is their territory. You just go find something to do. Oh, he's just the squirrels. So I thought that was just charming. And I don't know what fabric. I guess I could just do my own thing because it, so... And then, since I was downloading, I, of course, got the new one from Victoria House Designs, the Thankful. Isn't that great?
That is beautiful.
It's just, and I could see this one on wood,
on
a chunk of wood.
I could
but
too.
then I could also see it in a really over-the-top, huge, gnarly...
Chunky frame.
Yeah. I feel like starting this, but it's kind of like it's already fall. And I'm thankful all year round, but it's like, oh boy, I'm really itching to get to the Christmas stuff to show. We didn't do Christmas in July because we wanted to do Christmas in Christmas season. So I do have
I've got a lot of snowmen to show y'all.
And I'm the Santa lady, so you'll kind of get the
I can't
winter
believe
season.
I've never stitched a Santa.
Well, there, let's pip that up for you to bring up this week, your little Santa.
That would be fun.
Yeah, get that underway. So like I said before, all my projects are big. That's why I did the little needle roll, because I just want something to pick up in hand. And I don't know, I'm thinking maybe this might be a good thing.
That looks like such a fun start.
And
it's so pretty.
And it is all in DMCs. So, I don't know. Maybe I can switch it out.
Oh, DMC is so beautiful.
So, that's the end of my my Delightfuls deliveries. I found a couple of delightful digs, but I knew we had plenty for this episode. Yeah. So that we'll have that next time. Next time. So
is this it now? We came to the end?
No, I'm sad that we're to the end, and I hope you enjoyed what we had to show. But I'm even a little bit happy that now we get pie.
Yeah, there is that. It's hard to say goodbye, but when there's pie, it kind of lessens the sting.
Because we talk about pie all the time, and now I actually made a pie. It better be good.
I can't wait.
I told Jane I tried one of the pieces of apple, and it didn't taste very apple-y.
That's what ice cream's for.
I know. So that's what I was thinking over here in the car. I'm like, I've got the pie. I have to tell her I wasn't impressed with the apples. But, when all else fails, just put ice cream. I had to turn around in the road and go back and get the ice cream.
I might even splurge, even though it's in the afternoon, with a fresh cup of coffee with a lot of half and half in it.
Yeah. See, I don't do coffee. I do cappuccino, but I would venture for coffee.
I do cappuccino.
That's because I don't like the taste of coffee. Cappuccino tastes like
That's
a
why
dessert.
I have a lot of half and half.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been drinking coffee since I was probably
6.
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother made egg coffee, and it was unbelievable. And I wanted to be like my grandma, so I wanted to, partake with her at the grown-up table.
Yeah.
And so I think she filled the cup with half and half and just put enough coffee in it so that it was like a little bit of color. And, it was amazing. I miss her. She lived to be 103, God bless her. She's the one that's responsible for me having a needle in hand. And I miss her every day, but oh man, that coffee.
Now, egg
That
coffee
is a
doesn't
core
really
memory.
have like an egg in it.
Yeah, it does.
No, a real like yolk in the cup. I thought you put the eggshells in with the coffee grounds.
You take however your amount of coffee, and you put an egg in it, and you make this kind of egg like slurry. And then
does it cook?
It cooks.
Really? Because the coffee's so hot.
Yep. And then you just like strain it all out. Google it.
Oh, you strain it. You don't drink it right out of the cup with the egg in there. So what's the purpose? This is interesting.
It removes the bitterness and it gives it
grounds.
like a nice, rich, round flavor without that kind of bitter after note that you get sometimes with coffee.
That's what I don't like about coffee. Is you take it and you go, "Ooh, this is hot."
And now that I'm remembering, it might just be the egg white.
We'll have to Google it.
We'll have to Google it.
Because I drink coffee and it's like, oh, I feel, I've got coffee and a chocolate dessert. Ooh, and then you go, ugh, I don't like that.
Half and half. That's what that's for.
Well, we are going to leave you on that note of pie and egg coffee. And next week, or the next episode, not next week, but the next episode, we hope to bring you some fun stuff for the holidays.
Yeah.
We do have a schedule written of kind of what we wanted to do for programming, but
yeah, and I have a lot of ferrule finishes in the tubs of no return that I can pull out.
and,
yeah, I'm excited.
Who knows where we will be enabled by future Flosstubes that we'll watch, and but thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you, and I'll let you do the closing because you
Okay.
know all the words, and you have clicker in hand.
I have the clicker in hand. Yeah, like Julie said, thanks for joining us today. Always remember to give yourself one more day. And we wish you nothing but the best, health, happiness, and all abundance of all of the things that make you happy. And so until we see you again in a couple of weeks, we wish you happy stitching and take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.